Hi, and welcome to Meeples on Meeples episode 83. Today we're going to be talking about Antidote by Bellwether Games. It's a small box card game that plays 2 to 7 players in about 30 minutes. Let's take a look at how it plays. The premise of Antidote is you are all scientists who have been exposed to a toxin, and now you have to make sure that you drink the corresponding antidote to, heal yourself and survive, aka get victory points at the end of the game. The toxins are represented by the cards with X's, and there's normally 7, but I've just laid out 4 for us to look at here. We've got the lime green called MX Vial. We've got the purple, the dark green, the aqua. There's also an orange, some other colors, etc. The nice thing is if you're colorblind, they're also all different shapes, so that also helps. But anyway, the X's represent what you've been exposed to, and then for setup purposes, you take antidotes 1 through the number of players. So if we're playing a 4-player game, I'd have the 1, 2, 3, and 4 cards to go along with each of the possible toxins. You also have 1 syringe card per player. So again, if we're doing a 4-player game, I got it set up for 4 syringes here. To shuffle up initially, what you do is you put the syringes off to the side for a moment, and you take all of the toxins, there would be 7, and you shuffle them together, and you secretly remove 1 from the game. And I'll put that up here. That's the toxin you've been exposed to, and you have to guess what that is. So at the end of the game, you make sure that you have the corresponding card to go with it. You take the remaining toxins and those syringe cards we removed earlier, and you shuffle those together. And then what you'll do is you'll deal 2 of those to each player. So I go around, I get 2. You'll then take the antidotes, and that'd be a much bigger pile, and you'll shuffle that deck together. And in a 4-player game, each person ends up with 9 cards total. So we have the 2 from the toxin / syringe pile, plus we'll get another 7 once these are all shuffled together properly. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and that is your starting hand. In order to win the game, you need to end up with a numbered card that matches whatever is removed from the game. So let's just peek and cheat here. Okay, so dark green is the toxin that we've all been exposed to, but we wouldn't know that during gameplay. So in order to figure that out, it's kind of a guessing elimination game. I know right off the bat in my opening hand, you can see I got a syringe. I got the aqua blue X. So I know that this is not the toxin we were exposed to because it's in my hand. Clearly it's not the one that was pulled from the game earlier. I've got a couple of aqua blues there. I've got a couple of dark greens. I've got a nice variety of cards in my hand. But all I know is for sure it's not the aqua blue. Now, here's what you do with the cards. On your turn, you can say discard a card, in which case every player has to choose 1 card to lay down. Well, you don't want to lay down the highest number maybe right away because I don't know if it's dark green or if it's purple. All I know is it's not aqua. So I have 2 of the green. I could lay down the 1. That's not giving anything away. And the next player would then have a turn, and again, you could say discard, or you could say trade. You could say everybody pass left. You have to choose 1 card to pass to your left. Or you say everybody pass right, 1 card to pass to the right. You can also do a one-on-one exchange with somebody else, in which case you pick a card and don't show them, and they pick a card and you swap cards with them. Or you could play a syringe. What a syringe does is it lets you steal a card that's been laid down in front of another player. Because eventually, you say discard, and you put them face up normally. But unless you have to get, eventually as the game goes on, you can run out of cards. You might have to discard your toxin card. That gets laid down face down. So if you see somebody lay a card face down, that's a key, that's a clue you need. You know it's not that toxin. So you might play your syringe card and swap it out to steal that and have a look. And now another player will be like, oh, it's not the aqua blue. Okay, that's why he was getting rid of that 2 earlier. But eventually you're going to pass cards, you're going to lay cards down, and hopefully you're going to get more of these X cards passed to you from another player. You know, maybe sometime this might get passed to me, or I might steal this one from another player. And as the game's gone on throughout the rounds, as I'm losing more and more cards and playing more and more cards, I've seen that, oh, okay, I know it's not purple, I know it's not lime green, I know it's not aqua. And at the end of the game, you would want to make sure that you would have a card in your hand that matches. Whatever card I have remaining has to match this. I now live, and I get 2 points. Now, whoever kept the 3 or the 4, they would have more points than me, and you'd play 3 rounds, highest score wins. If you do not have anything matching this, you would technically, I guess, die if you want to be depressing about it, and you would get 0 points. So, final thoughts on Antidote. I think it's a really interesting idea. I like the theming of it, and I like the idea that you just have a little bit of information at the beginning. Okay, you might just get one of those X's. You know, one toxin. I know it's not this, but there's 6 others it could be. And so through smart stealing of cards, through careful what I pass and what I don't pass, because you know eventually you're going to get down to cards you might have to pass an X on. You know, great. Now I know that I'm telling the person to my left that it's not lime green, but nobody else knows that because I've held on to that old game. And the whole game is just a matter of guessing, and sometimes you don't see hardly any X's because people are hoarding them or holding on to them, or you didn't get dealt any syringes, so you're kind of out of luck there. And sometimes it just boils down to you have to read the other players. So that's another option. You can say, okay, I see a lot of people discarding the aqua blue, and while I haven't seen the aqua blue X myself, surely the aqua blue is not the toxin we've been exposed to. Somebody out there has seen it because everybody's getting rid of it like crazy. So maybe I guess I can get rid of mine. And sometimes that backfires, and people just got rid of it because they didn't know what else to do. And there's kind of a meta game like that, and it can be very funny. At the end, it almost always comes down to you think it's one of these two. Okay, I know it's either this or this, but I'm not sure. And somebody will say, okay, pass to your left. And I just say, which one of these am I going to pass? Or somebody says, lay down. And once you lay down, you're left with one card, the game's over, and you will reveal what you have. So you get down to that point where you're just like, no, I don't want to get rid of either one of them. It's got to be one of these two, but I'm not sure which one. And so it's really kind of an intense game, but it's still a light game at the same time. The card quality is very nice. And the theme is fun and enjoyable, and it's a great game. Now, it says it plays 2 to 7. I don't know how this would play at all with 2. I haven't even attempted that. And I think 7 would be so crazy that the X cards would be so spread out, you could go the whole game and possibly not see a single one. And I think that would make the game very difficult. I found, surprisingly, it plays actually very well with 3. A lot of really fun, intense games with 3, up to 5. I think the 6-7 might get a little bit crazy, which could be fun in and of itself, but it's nice to know that even with a low player count, this game does play very well. So, Antidote. I'm going to be honest, I absolutely fell in love with this game. I've had a great time, and I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. It's highly interactive. There's always a lot of, the things where a lot of player interaction and reading each other, and what cards do I pass, and there's just a lot of I don't know if I call it strategy so much as you always have a lot of options, and you have to think carefully about what you want to do for your next play. What do I reveal to the other players? What do I hold back? And I think that always makes for a fun and interesting experience on game night. So, love the game. Highly recommend it. Pick it up. 9 out of 10.